Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now. Here I'm Sammy Taramina, blogger around the OA, the host of Last Week Brain Cells and the host Queen Taramina and Orion Vitojan. I'd like to welcome those watching on the local voice on SoundCloud and those watching Orion Vitojan. This week we continue our talking to three coaches in a week. We're going to start with the coach of the Pontiac Phoenix, Coach Wendell Jefferson. Coach, thank you for calling in this week.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you for having me.
When you look at Pontiac last few years, I know, we talked about this program. We talked about, with Pontiac, just like, with the wins and losses. But how's everything been going for you guys this off season?
It's everything is going. It's been a little bit of a struggle, just for the numbers of players, and getting them to consistently come out during the off season. Once school starts, you'll have quite a few guys come out, but it's a process. It's getting better every year. But it's, as a coach, you would want everybody there and locked in as soon as possible.
And then, of course, let's talk about you had some surgery this off season. So talk about how you've been doing health-wise. How have you been doing personally?
I'm doing good. I'm getting better day by day. I had to have my spinal cord was having pressure on my neck, bone spurs, and a couple other things. The canal was shortened up, so they had to go in and remove some things, and so I'm doing better. That's
good. That's good. You're getting better, and and I hope everything's best for you. You know what I mean? I hope you're doing good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be doing good.
Let's look at, of course, last season. Of course, you guys had some. Last season, of course, it was. Talk about last season in your eyes. How did it go last season for you guys?
Well, it didn't go well. I've had a couple health challenges for the last couple of years here. The first season I was fine, but then I've had a couple of surgeries the last couple of years that have kind of taken me away from it, the way that I really wanted to be there. So I've had to make a couple of adjustments to the coaching staff because we had a few issues there. But it's a slow process. We're staying the course, and we just want to get better every year. We're losing quite a few seniors, some of our top players. So this year will be, I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'll put it like that.
And of course, I look at you guys, your freshman class going to be sophomores this year. We talked about that last year. Talk about the impact for them going from year one to year two with your system and how they've been processing through the challenges.
Okay. Yeah, they've been going pretty well. Our young guys, I'm encouraged by them. They have the right work ethic, and they've been in the program for from the middle school to JV, and now they'll be with us, and they've been picking up things pretty well. So I'm actually encouraged by our young guys. It's just losing the veterans that we did was kind of hard, but I like the future. I really do. We have a good young quarterback that's coming along. He's learning. He's picking up things, and that's Damaris King Wright. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple other young guys that are very promising. So I'm looking forward to those guys.
And then, of course, we look at we talked about the academic standards at Pontiac, and how important that is. So talk about how everything's been going academic-wise for Pontiac, for you guys in the football program, and how important is it going to be for you guys heading into the season?
Well, actually, academically, we've made huge strides. The athletic director has pointed that out, that our GPA has went up. I don't know the exact number right now, but it has risen every year. So the times of having a lot of guys or having a few guys not eligible to play, that's going by the wayside. So our guys are doing pretty good. We've had about, I think, last count, we got like 7 or 8 guys that are actually going to play college ball now. So that means they had the grades to do it and the athletic ability. So we're doing much better on that front, but we put a lot of emphasis on taking care of those grades. And my coaching staff has done a good job of following up with their kids and making sure they're on track.
And then, of course, let's look at let's look at the team this year. And we look at, of course, we talked earlier about the young guys, the sophomore guys. Talk about, what are you looking at this year? Some top guys that the OAA Nation needs to know about for Pontiac football.
Well, like I said, you got Damaris King Wright. You have Mikael Mott, who's kind of a slash type player. He plays running back, receiver, linebacker, defensive back. Then on the line, you have Carlos Solano, who's probably going to be our best offensive lineman. And then Trayvon Chapman, who is Terrell Chapman's little brother. Mm-hmm. So he's looking good. And we just have a few other players that are young, but I really look forward to seeing. We got a kid named, and please forgive me, I can't remember his last name. It's Javier. Yeah. He's going to look good for us. And then Desmond, he plays basketball as well, and he's gonna do a good job for us. And then
how's that defense looking for you guys? You look at, of course, how's your defense looking for you guys this year?
Well, I made a change at the defensive coordinator position. New defensive coordinator is Willie Payne. Me and him worked together previous stops, so I'm happy to have him. So our defense is it's going to be totally new. It's changing to something more conventional. I think something that we can execute better, and the kids will pick up a lot better.
And then, of course, let's look at your schedule. I mean, like your schedule this year, it's interesting. So, how does the schedule look in your own eyes? I mean, like I'm looking at your first two games. I mean, like A&T week 2, that should be interesting. So talk about your schedule and what do you see with the schedule that in your own eyes? How does the schedule look for you guys?
Well, I mean, the schedule, as you know, for me for a while, I don't really get into the individual contests. I mean, I'm taking more of I'm more along the lines of Nick Saban's process when it comes down to it. So I just think about us getting better every day. But we start out with a pretty good schedule. So we have the Detroit Community. I don't know much about them right now, although I am studying their film. And then I know that Southfield A&T, from my understanding, they have quite a bit of a turnover.
Yeah, they've had a big turnover.
Yeah. And then Avondale, we know they have a new coach.
Yep, Draymond Hall takes over that program. Yep.
Yeah, and they've been getting after it. I guess tell they've been getting after it. And then Berkeley, Berkeley's Berkeley. We'll see what happens there. And it's pretty much with the rest of them. We'll see what's happening. The one new one is having Waterford Kettering on our schedule. And so I'm not sure what they're going to look like this year, but I know it'll be a challenge for us. So every game will be a challenge for us. And it's my job to get them ready to meet the challenge.
And then, of course, I know week 9 you play Brandon, and
yes.
I know Brad Zuby was a former coach at Pontiac. So talk about I mean, I know that talk about playing Brandon week 9 and going up against a coach that's been in the system at Pontiac. So talk about going up against Brad Zuby.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll tell you from day one, Coach Zuby has reached out to me and offered his help and with everything. So I look forward to actually seeing him and us talking and just measuring what we learned from our contest with them last year and seeing how we do. So I have a lot of respect for him and for what he's accomplished, but also for just how he's reached out to me from day one and has always been somebody I could call and run things by and just talk about, Pontiac and certain challenges that come with being a high school coach.
And then, of course, I want to talk about your relationship with the boys basketball coach, Deion Harris. I mean, like, obviously you got a couple of players on the roster for you guys.
Yeah.
Talk about your relationship with Coach Harris and what Pontiac basketball brings to the football program.
Well, me and Coach Harris are we're in lockstep with the way we think about things and how it should go. We help each other out as much as possible. We encourage our student athletes to be multi-sport athletes, and so that helps us both. And so our working relationship is excellent as far as I'm concerned. I've always had a good working relationship with whoever the basketball coach has been, but I think this one is even more solid. And the basketball players, they got some great athletes. There's a couple more guys I wish would come out for football, but guys get one-track minds sometimes, and they believe that they just want to focus on the one sport. So, which I'm not mad at that. I just know that they would help us in football too. So.
Well, and this is because of my next question. Talk about how important multi-sport athletes are, because I know that you've seen it in the college game. A lot of college coaches look at multi-sport athletes. So talk about how important playing multiple sports is for student athletes.
Well, I think it's extremely important, and from the standpoint of you're doing different things with your body. Some involves a little bit more strength, but at its core, you're just becoming a better athlete overall. And the biggest thing for me is that it's high school. It's high school. Enjoy it. Do the different sports and have fun with it, and go from there, because you only get this experience once. And I believe that these kids should understand that and enjoy all of it. If you play the sport that you love, that's great. But how do you may love this other sport as well? So, and if you're thinking to go to college, it looks better for you, and there's different lessons that you learn from the different sports. So you have to be a little bit mentally tougher in football, and I think that helps you.
And then, of course, let's talk about the facilities at Pontiac. You just got a new field a couple years ago. How important has that new facility, the new football field, been for you guys, especially for the community of Pontiac?
Well, it's been great. It's been great. It's when you come and you see the facilities, it just gives you a good feeling about it. It's if you've seen the facilities before they were new, you can tell the difference. And when the kids step onto the field, or the new weight room that we have and all of that, it gives you a little bit more sense of pride about everything. So I think the community, when they come out and see it, they're kind of in awe because they're used to they know what it used to look like. And a lot of people hadn't seen the changes. So when they come out, they have a lot of comments about how great everything's looked, the baseball field, the football field, the new weight room, the basketball court, the main gym there. All those things have been updated, and it's impressive. I'm proud of it.
And then, of course, we know and I know a lot. Talk about how the community has been like to you guys, and obviously, we know the history, with Pontiac, obviously Pontiac Northern, Pontiac Central.
Yes.
Talk about, how much the community has been for you guys, coming out the games, just supporting you guys, and doing everything that's surrounding, the game day experience at Pontiac.
Well, it's extremely important. It's extremely important. And when everyone comes out and supports the student athletes, it's just a much better feeling. I still think that we have some room for growth in that area, but it's happening. Parents are starting to come out, and not just parents, but just people in the community in general are starting to come out and support these young men and young women in the different sports that they do. So that's huge. I think it's huge, whatever school you're going to, whatever city. And I want us to get even better, or get more participation with that. So I think part of it is just making sure the information gets out to the community. So we're putting more of an emphasis on that. We've bought some, tools to help us do that. But when you just see the look in the kids' face when they look up in the stands and they see, it's pretty much it's packed. that gives them that feeling that we all want, we've all been a part of, and understand how much of a difference that makes.
I do want to get your thoughts also on the expansion front. I know you heard the OAA is going to be expanding next season. You got Novi, Northville, Clawson, Grand Blanc, and Davison. I want to get your thoughts on those 5 schools coming into the OAA, and what are your thoughts on, possibly seeing one of them? You could be seeing maybe a team like Clawson in the future. So talk about the 5 schools, and what's your thoughts on all 5 of them joining the conference?
Well, I think it's great. I think it strengthens us as a conference, and it just opens us up to more experiences and talent, and the way that different schools do things. And I think it's a good thing, and it's just a matter of how we manage everything and make sure that the divisions are fairly built, and I think that it's nothing but a positive for us. I'm from back in the day when you had the Saginaw Valley, which was very tough. And I remember being a part of that. And this is just another step to getting into a division that's going to be, or a conference that's going to be extremely tough and also gratifying when you compete against those other schools like that.
And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, because Pontiac, you guys could see maybe Clawson, Clawson, you look at enrollment, they're a little bit lower than you guys, but I would be it would be very interesting because, with a team like Clawson, going up against maybe you guys, going up against Royal Oak, they've seen him play Royal Oak. Like Berkeley, it's going to be very interesting to see, how you guys would match up with any of these 5, considering, you look at, of course, the basketball program, the success they've had. And then you look at, of course, the, so it'll be interesting to see how, the matchups will go. You know what I mean? So I'll be curious to see how it goes this year for you guys.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And you're right. Like I said, we have Kettering, which we hadn't played Kettering since I've been here. We have the usuals, Ferndale and all that, but the most interesting is on October 16th, we have that crossover games that's going to be to be determined based on the schedule. So that's a different look that I'm kind of looking forward to see. I don't know, because you don't know who you're going to play.
It'll be interesting, especially that crossover game, because people, you're going to be crossovering against the White, which is going to be either going to be Stoney, Rochester, Bloomfield Hills, Troy, or Troy Athens. So that would be a very interesting matchup. Considering if it's like a Troy or Troy Athens, I think it would be a really interesting matchup for you guys taking on one of those 2 teams. They're bigger schools, but Pontiac's not been afraid to go up against bigger schools in the past. I know that.
Right. Yeah, no, we're not afraid of any contest like that. So I look at an opportunity to shock the world, as they say. So I like that. I like the challenge for our kids.
Before I let you go, Coach, what is your expectation this year at Pontiac heading into the season?
Well, I just look for us to be competitive, to go from whistle to whistle, and just everything we do it with a certain standard, and a standard that we set. That we're going to be tough to play against, and we're going to play the whole game. We're not going to take any time off, and we'll let the results be what they're going to be, but the work ethic is going to be extreme.
One more question before I let you go. Any changes to football uniforms at all this year?
No, not yet. No, not yet. We're looking to get some new uniforms, but I think that we won't get them this year. So, but we will, 100% we'll have new ones next year for the varsity.
Okay, Pontiac coach Wendell Jefferson, thank you for joining us here this week on the podcast. I wish you guys the best of luck this season, and I will see you at Media Day.
All right, thank you, Sammy. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Of course, that is Pontiac coach Wendell Jefferson talking about the Phoenix heading into the year. Okay, now we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Stoney Creek coach Rick Powell here on the podcast. All right. Welcome back to OAA Now here. I'm Sammy Terminator here. We got the coach of the Cougars, Coach Rick Powell here. Coach, thank you for calling in this week.
Thanks for having me, Sam. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, I mean, like last season, of course, you guys had a nice year. I mean, like you guys got to the playoffs, knocked off Utica Eisenhower, falling the Rochester Adams. Break down last season for me. How was it in your eyes?
It's always nice to get in the playoffs, especially winning a playoff game. I think it was their first playoff win in school history besides the COVID year, I think, where everybody got in. But our guys really came together, led by a great senior class that's worked their tail off. And then we had a good junior class last year with some big contributing factors and pieces. But each day we try to get a little bit better each time. And our guys really performed towards the end of the season. And unfortunately didn't follow up to Adams late, like you mentioned, but we had a nice playoff victory as well.
I do want to talk about that win against Ike. I mean, like, obviously you've been against Ike before when you were at Lake Orion as the defensive coordinator. Talk about, that game. How was the atmosphere like heading into that matchup with the Eagles?
Just like we talk about every single day, and in the OAA, like the MAC Red and, obviously the MAC Red and White even are some very good caliber teams. And we knew it was going to be a battle against Eisenhower. And we got a lucky couple good breaks with some onside kicks and some things like that in the middle of the game, and had some big momentum shifts and swings. But our guys really just kept battling. We gave up some big plays, but then we also had some big negative yard plays. For example, our quarterback and tailback really stepped up that day, followed by a great offensive line, and they had a great rushing attack. And we were able to hang on at the end. But it was an awesome, hard-fought battle, and we know they're always well coached and they play tough. So we just got to make sure we bring our best that day.
I know you got to get to go play in week 1, so we're going to talk about that schedule in a little bit here. Let's look at the guys coming back. Obviously, there's been one player I'm really high on, and it's Rose Talagatis, the running back. So talk about how Rose has been, this offseason, getting ready for the year.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys coming back, to be honest. When I took over 2 years ago, we started 7 sophomores, and we're fortunate enough to have all those guys continue to play with us, the seniors this year. So we're really excited about our senior class. We got about 21 of them, and a lot of guys have contributed, had some type of varsity experience, and have played in key games in the past. Brozy Talagatis, Ambrosio has been an awesome factor for us. Can pretty much do it all. Very physical in the run game, likes to get the perimeter. Blocks for us. Like he's very versatile in what he does. And then, we have a returning quarterback, Brandon Gurgix.
Yep.
Going to be a 3-year guy for us. And then offensive lineman, Ian Genslinger is going to be a 3-year guy for us. Tight end, linebacker, Ryan Dazinski is going to be a 3-year guy for us. Quinn Zazula is going to be wide out and safety for us, 3-year guy. So a lot of these guys have had a lot of key, experience over the last few years.
And I do want to talk about your specialty, which is the defense. And obviously, you look at, of course, you got a very good defensive background as Lake Orion days. So talk about, any newcomers, especially on the defensive side of the football, that OA Nation needs to know about.
I don't know about newcomers, but we got some guys up and coming on the rise that I don't think get enough credit. They just go to work, and that's what we kind of preach every day for our guys: is put our heads down and go to work. Don't worry about the outside media. Don't worry about anything else, and let our play do the talking. But as I mentioned, I think we're going to be led by our linebacking core, and then in the secondary, Quinn Zazula. So Quinn Zazula is going to be a 3-year returning guy at safety for us. He does all of our checks, all of our calls, and he's going to be an awesome returner for us. Really excited about him. At linebacker, we actually return all 3 of our inside linebackers, so we're really excited about that. And then we return D lineman Warwick Stevens, who's got a motor like no other, and he's a very physical player. So we really like he's going to be a senior for us as well. And then we got a lot of puzzle pieces. A lot of our JV guys have a ton of success their freshman and sophomore years on freshman and JV. So we have a lot of young guys kind of stepping into some key roles at the D line, secondary positions to help fill in some voids.
I do want to talk about that junior class. I mean, like, especially because the success that you guys have had, especially your sub-varsity program. So talk about the success that the sub-varsity programs have had, especially at Hart, and especially coming into the freshman JV level. So talk about the success of all 3 of those programs.
Yeah, I mean, we keep trying to start from the Junior Cougar organization and work the youth route there, and those guys do a great job down there and try to get our guys to stay together and play together, and then they keep working into middle school at Hart, and we've had about 50 to 60 guys on those middle school teams the last few years. It's been awesome. Great coaches help lead the way there. And then, we've had a lot of success from the lower levels. Our junior class this year, they were undefeated 2 years in a row. Our senior class this year, I think, maybe lost one game, in the last 2 years as a freshman, sophomore. So a lot of success there. A lot of great coaches that we have there to help kind of mold our guys and run our system, do what we do. But, really fortunate enough to get them to kind of see what winning's about and have that feeling moving into their varsity season.
I do want to talk about the division because I know the White made a big load of changes this year. I mean, no longer in there's Harper Woods, Groves. Now you bring in Bloomfield Hills, you bring in Troy Athens, you bring in Troy. What is your thoughts about the White going through a big changeover this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, OAA football, that's what it's about. We're really excited about it. We really don't have a ton of knowledge or experience in playing the Troy schools, Troy Athens, Troy, Bloomfield Hills. So we're excited to bring those guys in. But, at the end of the day, it's awesome to see Division I schools playing against Division I schools and having that exposure for playoffs especially and getting those points for playoffs. I thought our league in the past with Groves and Harper Woods was super competitive, and we also had some great games. So, those were always good battles. But we're really excited to see what this new league has entailed. And, like I said, they're all well coached, and they'll have guys returning as well. So we're excited to see how those games go. And
then let's look at that non-conference schedule. And this is interesting because, as we talked earlier, you open up week 1 with Utica Eisenhower. Obviously, it's a rematch of that playoff game. And then, of course, Eisenhower is only separated by, I think, about 5 miles from you guys. So talk about that matchup week 1, especially seeing a team that you were very familiar with last year in the postseason.
We're trying to. Obviously, if you want to make a run in the playoffs, you gotta beat good teams, and you gotta play your best football towards the end of the year. So, we try to get our guys some exposure early on, and we have that back to back weeks 1 and week 2. We play Eisenhower week 1 and Clarkston week 2. So it's going to be an awesome start to our season, and then we obviously get into OAA White, league play. But it's going to be competitive. Obviously they want some revenge from last season towards the end of the year, the playoff game. And we got to make sure that we're ready to play. Always first game is, who can make the least amount of mistakes and play their best brand of football. And that's our goal heading into week 1.
I do want to talk about that week 2 game against Clarkston. Obviously, of course, you got a lot of experience going against Clarkston from your days at Lake Orion. Talk about what the Wolves bring against you guys.
I got a lot of respect for Coach Pintar and their staff and their program. They do things well. They do what they do, and they do it well. So we got to make sure we play our best brand of football and, bring our A game for that game. But, again, just like the experience, the opportunity to get to play that caliber school, especially early on in the season, to see where we stand, see where we rank up. But, they've had a lot of success, not only when Coach Pintar was there, but even previously. So, I played them 7 times, when I was at Lake Orion. So I have a little bit of idea what they want to do. But, at the end of the day, you still got to block, tackle, and make plays.
And then, of course, we before I talk to city rivals, I do want to talk about your Week 9 game. You guys go against Ann Arbor Huron. Talk about, playing them. I think last year you went out to Ann Arbor last year. So talk about playing them Week 9.
Yeah, so we actually go there again this year, Week 9. We renewed the 2-year contract. Always a great battle. Division I caliber school. So just the way the schedule worked out, we actually do go to them Week 9 again. They have a lot of great athletes, coached well. They had great hospitality for us, just kind of obviously welcoming us in for that long drive. But it'll be a great game. Same thing. We did beat them the last 2 years, so I know they're going to come hungry and ready to play. But their coach has started to give them a lot of success the last few years as well. So we're excited for that opportunity Week 9, heading into the playoffs, hopefully.
And then let's talk to city rivals. We're going to start with Adams. Obviously, last year they knocked you guys out of the playoffs. You've gone against them in the past, and you've had some great games against Adams. So talk about what Adams brings, what challenges they bring, and obviously you know what the Veer does. So talk about Adams in your eyes. Yeah,
Coach Petrino, very similar. He's had a lot of proven success in the past, and very similar to Coach Pintar. But they run their stuff, they run it well. They have a lot of key contributors that help out and try to spread the ball around to many different guys. And defensively, they're always attacking downhill and making plays there. So Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, big city rival. You know, they've had our number the last few years, and even in the past. So we're trying to get over that hump this year and really make a statement game there. But you know, it's really only one game out of the whole 9-game schedule, so we try not to make it that big of a deal. But at the end of the day, it's always a game that we'd love to win and have on our belt.
And then let's talk about a team you've had their number the last few years, and that's Rochester. I remember the game 2 years ago when that overtime game, that was crazy at your place, and where you guys scored the touchdown late. I think it was Sam Fogler scored that winning touchdown. And then last year you guys went to Rochester and won that one pretty handily. So when you look at Rochester, what in your eyes, what do you think about the Falcons?
Very competitive. They always bring it each and every week, and like I said, it'll be a very competitive game. Like you said, city rival game. So you know, if you're not getting up for that game, then something's wrong. So you know, Coach Vernon does a great job over there. Those guys will be ready to play, and same thing, just like Adams. Like we try not to make it bigger than what it is. It's another game on our schedule, but you know, we also have that in our back of our mind that it is a city game and city rival, and we want to make the most of it.
I want to talk about your relationship with Todd Nagoshin, your athletic director. How is your relationship with Nogo going?
He's awesome. The guy's awesome athletic director. He's you know, I know he's proven head basketball coach and experience in athletics. So you know, he's a coach's athletic director. It's all you can ask for, all you can wish for. And you know, he's been really awesome to our program, to all the Stoney Creek athletics as well as a whole. But really excited to have him in my corner and continue to work alongside him.
You look at, of course, you look at what you guys like heading into the year. I know there's a lot of expectations. I mean, like, you look at, of course, the D1 landscape, and, you know, you look at a team like Nova, Detroit Catholic Central, Detroit Cass Tech. You know, what are your thoughts when you look at, you know, putting Stoney Creek on the map? You know, they could be a big time. They're a sleeper in Division I this year. So what is your thoughts on hearing what everybody in the media is saying, like Stoney Creek could be a possible sleeper this year in Division I?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You could say that we could be a very bad C team this year. You know, at the end of the day, is we only focus on what we control in our locker room and who guys that we have and the staff that we have. And we're really excited about our growth and development over the last 3 years. You know, we're taking huge strides in our off-season programs, our strength and conditioning programs. Our guys are getting much stronger, bigger, faster, stronger, as the old saying goes. But, you know, yeah, we're really excited about this upcoming season. And, you know, like anything, potential is what you make of it. Like, you know, you reach your potential, you're not, like, it's just a word out there. It's a buzzword. So our biggest thing is making sure that we're focused on ourselves and ourselves only. You know, obviously we play Romeo, Lake Orion, and Lapeer in a scrimmage. So that's going to be a great 4-way scrimmage for us, and that's kind of what we're focused on. From there, obviously, we get to go to host Eisenhower, Clarkston, things like that, and we get into our league schedule. So, you know, we can't worry about 9 games in from now, 7 games in from now, playoffs, whatever. We're really just focused on ourselves and what we can maintain, and we got a lot of guys that can do that. And, you know, we're really excited, like I mentioned, about our senior class. The guys are hungry, and like you mentioned, their biggest goal is also to put Stoney Creek on the map. You know, in what fashion that looks like, I'm not really sure yet. But their main task is to make sure that they're playing their best brand of football and what, you know, our elite brand of football, and let the chips fall where they may fall. We feel like we'll put ourselves in a good situation to be successful. But at the end of the day, you still got to play the game.
And then let's talk about the community aspect of it. Obviously, Stoney Creek's been known for a lot of great community-wide efforts with their football program. So talk about the community aspect of Stoney Creek football.
Yeah, community's been awesome. We get a great support system within the community. You know, we try to do things more and more within the community and be part of it, put ourselves out there, help out as much as we can in the community service events, things like that. You know, we cause game and we have throughout the season, youth night, we bring in community members. So it's really exciting to have those, you know, have those community members have our back and kind of support us. And, you know, Friday Night Lights at Cougar Stadium's awesome experience. We love our facility, we love our stadium, and the fans that come and show support us has been an awesome experience.
And then, of course, any like special games like you're going to honor, like, you know, because I know in the past Stoney Creek's had some games where they've honored like a dairy farm and all that or something. Any honoring this year or no?
We just, like I said, we have youth night early on. We have cause game, which is Team Continue. It's a local cause that we're actually Stoney Creek family, so we started that last year, and we'll continue that. We'll continue to support that cause throughout the season, and we have a game attributed for that. But beyond that, that's homecoming, obviously normal, senior night. That's where we're headed.
Before I let you go, Coach, what is your expectation this year for Stoney Creek football?
And just be the best versions of ourselves. That's at the end of the day. I just want to make sure that before I go, I don't want to be remiss to miss a few guys, but to make sure, like I said, we're led by senior class that has had that. This will be now year three with not only our system, our program, varsity experience, all that stuff. But like I said, quarterback Brandon Gurgix, running back Rosie Talagatis. We have a offensive lineman Ian Genslinger. Another running back linebacker Mason Black. Safety receiver Quinn Zazula. Running back linebacker Ricky Schneider. D lineman, offensive lineman Rourke Stevens. Running back tight end linebacker Ryan Dazinski. So these guys have really been with us through thick and thin, and they've been in, like you mentioned before, close games against Rochester, overtime games, Harperwood game. The downfall, unfortunately, of Rochester Adams, where we haven't got over the hump in the playoffs. So these guys done a great job, and then our junior class, some guys returning that have also played as sophomores. O-lineman Brady Rigney, O-lineman Will Siskoski, we're really excited about, and then linebacker, running back Zach Abrifas. So we have a lot of guys that we're really excited about. At the end of the day, like I said, we got to make sure that we're playing our best brand of football, and we do what we need to do to be successful.
You guys got a team motto this year before I let you go?
No, our motto all the time is elite. We just the core values of being excellence, love, integrity, toughness, and energy, and we try to build those, and we strive upon those each and every day in everything that we do.
Stoney Creek coach Rick Powell, thank you for calling in this week here on the podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Media Day in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Sammy. Always a pleasure. Always a privilege to be able to be on here and talk to you and talk ball.
I forgot one more.
Let me know.
I forgot one more
Yes,
question. I forgot one more question. What's your thoughts on the expansion of the OAA? Novi, Northville, Clawson, Grambling, and Davison. Before I let you go, what are your thoughts on those 5 schools?
I'm excited. If we could continue to improve the OAA and bring these caliber teams in, and at the end of the day, like, we don't have to necessarily go looking for non-conference games or crossover games. If they can be in-house essentially in the OAA, and we continue to bring high-level teams in like we are, I'm really excited about it. And I think it makes everybody better from top to the bottom. And at the end of the day, you got to strive to beat those teams, because if you can beat those teams, then obviously you give yourself a good chance to make the playoffs and even make a run in the playoffs. So it's going to be a great new experience, new addition, and I'm excited to see what the future of the OAA holds.
Thank you really much, Coach. Coach Powell. I will see you at Media Day, and I will also look forward to talking to you in a couple weeks.
Sir, thanks, Sammy.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Of course, that was Stoney Creek coach Rick Powell talking about the Cougars, and Stoney's going to be interesting. I mean, I think Stoney's going to be very good this year. I really do. And then earlier we talked to Pontiac coach Wendell Jefferson, and he's very excited about about his team, about Pontiac this year. So I'm going to be curious to see how both these teams go as we head into the season. So Pontiac, I think, could be good. I mean, and then when I talk about Stoney Creek, this is going to be a very good team. I think Stoney Creek will be a very good team. I mean, like, I know my history now. I know my BT co-host Anthony Termina and I talked about Stoney Creek, and this is their zenith. And I'm going to be curious to see how this Cougar program goes this year, and it's going to be interesting to see how Stoney Creek goes this upcoming season. Right now, we come back. We're going to talk to Rochester coach Eric Vernon here on the podcast. Welcome back to OAA Now. Here, I'm Sammy Termina here. We got the coach of the Falcons, Coach Eric Vernon. Coach, thank you for calling in this week on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate what you do. You do a great job with the OAA and getting information out. It's pretty awesome, so thank you.
Let's look at last year. Of course, you had a very interesting year last year. I know you guys upset Lake Orion, and you made the playoffs. So recap last year for me for Rochester.
Sure, yeah. We were pretty happy with what we did. We just like a lot of teams do, we faced a lot of adversity. We had a lot of injuries throughout the year. And we had a lot of our seniors from last year's class step up and do a really great job for us. It's filled in, and there were some games where we were a little shorthanded, but we did a great job of kind of battling through that. And then we had a lot of juniors last year who would be seniors this year step up. So it was a pretty good year for us all the way around. Obviously, we want to kind of continue to get over that hump. But we had some big wins. We did some good job with stuff, and it was a good season. It was a lot of good things happened. Had a good group of kids, and really looking forward to continuing that momentum this year.
And I noticed something from last year's senior class. You mentioned, I know the Twitter page mentioned that they were like 1-8 their freshman year. I mean, like, so talk about, that growth from, struggling, that early on struggles from last, and then last year having that special year.
Yeah, that a ton of credit to them as football players, and they come in as freshmen and a little bit behind in terms of where they're at development, but they just worked hard in the weight room. They worked hard, listened to coaching. And we kind of a couple of years ago we started having kind of combining our JV and varsity team into one thing. So those freshmen, when they come to the sophomore year, they're practicing with varsity. They're getting coached by varsity coaches, and it was just one of those things where it was hard on them initially through that sophomore year, but once they kind of get with what we're going, they just made such great improvements. And it was really awesome to see. It was kind of the same thing with last year's sophomores that are going to be juniors this year as freshmen. I think they had like a 3-6 record last year. They ended up being 5-4 on JV, and a lot of good players made some big developments. We're expecting some big things from some of those young guys as well. So it's kind of how we try to work things here and kind of get them into doing things the way we do things. And it was pretty good for that senior class, and kind of, like I said, hopefully continue that momentum this year.
And then let's look at, of course, your team coming back. I mean, like, obviously, I call this the Jeff Smoker, Charles Rogers combination you have with Matt Dykey and Nate Tandy. Talk about those two and how they've been doing in sync this summer. And obviously, those are two guys that are that I've been curious to see about making some headways this year for Rochester.
Yeah, we're really excited for both those guys. They're above all else, they are competitors to the T. Like Matt is a baseball player as well, and he got hurt, started baseball, but was able to come on and did a really great job as a varsity baseball player as a sophomore. He's been on our varsity team for football. He's been our quarterback since his freshman year. He continues to grow. He's gotten a lot bigger. He's he's filled out quite a bit. And then Nate Tandy, he's the ultimate competitor. You don't see too much of this anymore, but he is that 3-sport athlete: football, basketball, baseball. He's the number one starter for baseball this past year. He was one of the top scorers on the basketball team, and he was one of our top players last year. And it's kind of, the summer with baseball and basketball, we have a lot of multi-sport athletes. We really we share a lot of them. So, they both were doing a lot of baseball and basketball stuff in June, and today was actually kind of the first day we got them back together, and they're just kind of like old times. They just get together. They got a good chemistry, and looking for big things from both of them. They really are just great kids. They're great leaders, work hard, and we're really excited for both of them for sure this year.
Before we talk other players, I mean, like, I do want to talk about the importance of multi-sport athletes. At Rochester, you said it yourself. Rochester's got multiple multi-sport athletes. So talk about how important being a multi-sport athlete is, especially when especially for college coaches looking at players, how important it is.
Yeah, it's something that I'm thankful for being at Rochester, because that whole belief in multi-sport athletes starts from the top with our athletic director, started with our principal, Mr. Wrinkle, kind of worked down to Mr. Allen, and all the coaches. We get along. We recognize that we're going to share athletes, whether it's Nick Avola on the basketball team or Eric Vernon, baseball coach, or I coach wrestling, head wrestling coach as well. So we understand the importance of making sure that we get kids playing sports. Same thing with the track program. That's just something that we really work on, just kind of building that relationship with. And there's a lot of trust that has to kind of take place between all the programs. Like, I know when the football players are going playing basketball, they're going to get coached hard. They're going to work hard. They're going to do everything they need to do. Same thing with baseball and track and wrestling. And it's just something for, overall, I think that's great for our athletes, right? Like, it's kind of one of those old school mentalities. You see a lot of kids specialize, and that's great, to each their own. But if a kid likes playing other sports, they want to play other sports, we can certainly make it work for what we do. And it's good for the kids, I think, obviously, for a lot of research out there. It reduces injuries, but it's just the mental work and the mental capacity, and being able to go from grind of one season to be able to do something fresh and something new of another season. And, we got great coaches in the building, and it's something that really works out really well for us, for sure.
Now let's go back to the team here. Besides Tandy and Dikey, talk about any impact players OA Nation needs to know about at the skill positions.
Well, just like with I think with every other team, it really starts up front with us. And we're going to have a young man named Marcus Adom, who he's a defensive lineman, offensive lineman for us. He's going to be one of the best linemen in the county, I think, if not the state. He's just been fantastic for us the last couple of years. This will be his 4th year at varsity. We're really looking forward for a big year for him. He's put a lot of work in. He's a big, strong, physical kid, fires off the ball. So I think he's going to do really well for us. We got a couple kids coming back that started for us on the offensive line. Peyton Shada was a starter for us, and Wade Youngblood, who was a sophomore, he'll be a junior starting for us. So up front offensively, I think we're going to be pretty solid. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we got, I think, again, a good defensive line with Marcus Adom, and we're bringing back Luca Ferrara, who is a good defensive end for us. And then Wade Youngblood also played defensive end. So we got some guys up front that I think are going to they're going to help us out. They're not the biggest kids in the world, but they're physical, they're aggressive, they're good football players. So we're excited for those guys up front.
And then obviously linebackers and the corners. Talk about your back end of your defense, and then also other wide receivers and rushing attack.
For sure, yeah. We at our linebacker position, we're getting Jake Welch back. He was a wrestler for me, and he started that last half of the season for us last year. He's a 3-sport athlete because he plays baseball as well. But he was one of our leading tacklers towards the end of the year. Good, aggressive kid. We have a kid named Matias Hernandez. He's going to be coming back. He's going to fill in that outside linebacker safety position. And he actually was he played volleyball this past spring, which was awesome to see some of our guys out there playing volleyball. So that's a whole nother level of athleticism. That was pretty cool to watch. Another kid named Nick Alf, big special teams player for us last year. He'll be stepping in as a DB or linebacker as well. And JT Kissinger, and hopefully, we got to replace some guys at corner. We're losing both for corners. We got to find some guys in that back end for sure. Helps having, a guy like Nate Tandy that can step back and play some safety as well. And Braden Sauerbry, he's going to be a receiver. He's a basketball kid. He was on varsity last year as a sophomore. He'll be coming back as a receiver and play some corner for us. So he's an athletic kid. So we're really looking forward to that. And then we have another kid named Drew Jarvis, who started for us up front last year. Ran track, was a good athlete for us. So we got some guys coming back. We'll be in the hopefully running back position. We lost our leading rusher, but we got a kid named Blake Chikowski coming back for us that filled in when our running back was hurt. We got another young kid named Joe Sirianni, who was a freshman for us last year on varsity towards the end of the year. And he's had a really good offseason. We're looking forward to see what he can do with the ball this year as well.
And then, of course, let's look at any newcomers. Like a lot of people OA Nation doesn't know about that could really step in and make some noise. Like nobody's talking about that can make some noise.
Well, I think one of the best athletes that we have on our team. He played some tight end for us last year. Played outside linebacker. He broke his collarbone against Stoney Creek and missed a lot of the season. He's a basketball kid. His name's Kalen Sieber. He is a big, tall, athletic kid who's going to be able to play a lot of different positions for us on the field. And he's going into his senior year. Like I said, he was a two-way starter for us last year. Had some big games. Unfortunately, got hurt, but he's put a lot of work in. And he's going to be one of those guys that we get the ball to for sure. So we're excited for Kalen Sieber to make some plays out there, and he'll be someone that can step up for us for sure.
And then let's look at the schedule. And obviously, I know you love week one. You love to go into Macomb County to play somebody week one. So who do you got from Macomb County in week one?
Yeah, we do. We love playing Macomb County teams. I think it just makes sense for us. We're going to play L'Anse Creuse North. I know they got a new coach coming over from Stevenson. I know they're going to work hard. They're going to do a great job to be a good football team, so it's going to be a good challenge for us. We're looking forward to that. So we got that as a week one. They're coming to our place week one. So that's the Macomb team we're opening up with for sure.
And then I got to talk Adams. I mean, my goodness. I mean, it's been since 1996, the last time Rochester's beaten Adams. And I know I talked to two good friends of mine, Dan Stickrat and Keith Dunlap, and they're saying to me that this might be the year Rochester gets Adams this year. So talk about, that rivalry with Adams, you know what I mean? And what's the motivation for you guys against them? You got them coming to your place this year.
We do, yeah. It's one of those things. I say this every year, and we've had some really good games when we come real close. Obviously, we want to get that win. We want to get over the hump. It's not many teams can beat them. They're year in and year out. Well-coached team, Coach Petrito, Coach Mack over there do such a great job. It's good to have a team like that in our city as our rivals because, when we're setting goals and we know, hey, this is the team that we want to compete against. This is a team we want to beat. They're one of the top teams in the state. When we get over that hump, we're going to be one of the top teams in the state. So we're, looking forward to that challenge again. And, it's one of those things that we talk about for sure. And we want to make sure both them and Stoney Creek are games that we highlight. And we want to make sure that we understand the importance of that rivalry. And this year, if we can get an opportunity to take on both those guys and beat them, I think we're going to be in a really good position and achieve a lot of the goals we want to achieve for sure.
And then you guys are in the white this year, and white went through a massive change. I mean, you look at now you bring in Bloomfield Hills, Troy Athens. So, and you got Stoney Creek in that division. So what is your thoughts about the newly created white division?
I like it. I think geographically it makes sense. It makes sense for the playoffs in terms of playing people that, are same enrollment size. And, the thing with those teams and the thing with the OAA throughout, and we say this at OAA Media Day, we just have such great coaches throughout the league. And those teams are going to come in well prepared. They're going to come in. They're going to have playmakers, Oakland County, and it doesn't really matter what division you're in. It doesn't matter what league you're in. You're going to have some of the top players in the state. You're going to have some of the top coaches in the state. And so we're really looking forward to that challenge. And we've got a tough schedule, obviously. We got a lot of teams with a lot of good playmakers, a lot of good coaches. It's going to be a good year. So if you come out of the OAA, whatever league you're in, you're going to be pretty good, especially when you start facing teams from other divisions and other leagues.
I do want to talk about, there's one trip that we talked about last year that you guys got to make the trip down I-75, past Detroit, and into a town called Monroe to play the Trojans. So what is your thoughts about having to go down to Monroe to play them week 9?
Well, it's, they came up to our place and, it's one of those things where we knew we'd have to make the trip. Hopefully we can, get our principal and AD to get a nice, comfortable bus for us. And, it's just one of those things. But we talk about it. If we go and achieve the things we want to achieve, we're going to have road games that are going to be a long ways away. So that's a good practice for, some of the things we have. And it's exciting for us. And we talk to the kids all the time about the football experience, right? Like when we play in the OAA, whatever stadium you're going to go to, you're going to get that Friday Night Light experience. And when you go down to Monroe, you're going to go down there into a town that loves football. They've got a big history. They're going to be a lot better football team this year. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be a great environment. That's something that, we play for. That's something that we want. That's the thing that we're looking forward to as high school football players, playing those Friday Night Lights atmosphere and looking forward to that. So
I do want to get your thoughts on expansion. Obviously, the OA is going to go through a massive expansion next year with Novi, Northville, Clawson, Grand Blanc, and Davison. I want to get your thoughts on those 5 teams joining the league, and what are your thoughts on all 5 of them?
Yeah, that's it's kind of funny because you hear all the rumors, and then all of a sudden now these things are starting to come true and come to fruition, and it's exciting. It's exciting times. Football is the sport that drives it, right? But it's more, and it's one game a week. That's not a huge deal, but some of these other sports, it'll be interesting to see how some of that travel goes if you're driving down to Northville, if you're driving out to Novi. Obviously they have good teams and they have great programs. But some of those sports, on a Tuesday night driving out there for, a baseball game or, Wednesday night for a wrestling meet, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that works out. That's a good thing. The more competition you have, right? It was a rising tide raises all boats, right? So if we can get a lot of good competitive teams in there, that's going to help our teams, all the teams in the league, obviously, when it comes to tournament time. So, and it'll be interesting to see various sports, right? Bringing in the Grand Blancs for basketball and bringing in some of these other schools for baseball and some of these other sports, on top of what they're bringing for football. It'll be fun. It's exciting times.
And then let's talk about program strength. Obviously, for you guys, you got a freshman program, JV program, obviously your middle school level. So talk about the youth levels, the middle school levels. Talk about all that.
Yeah, so we're bringing in. We have new freshman coaches this year. I was lucky to have freshman staff together for a really long time, and they kind of retired and stepped away, and hate to see them go, but exciting because we're getting the new freshman staff in, and they've done a great job this summer of kind of getting up to speed and getting acclimated to what we do. It's funny because in this school, in this district, obviously we have the middle schools, and we have Ruther Middle School as a middle school that's strictly ours. We share West Middle School with Adams, and they have those middle school seasons. But then we also have the Rochester Raiders youth football program, and that's one of the premier youth programs in the entire state. And traditionally, some of the kids that we get from there have done a really good job for us. And we got a couple freshmen coming in this year that we're excited about that came from that Raiders program. There's a couple kids, I think, in the lower levels there that we're excited about. So that's one of those things that, if we continue to work on building up the Ruther and the West program, and then trying to get some players from that Raiders program, that's something that, we're certainly looking to, once they get as a freshman, then getting them doing the things that we do. I think that's better for us, obviously.
And then, of course, let's look at the community aspect of Rochester. I know you have the famous Falcon Frenzy game. I felt it last year. So talk about the importance of the community. Obviously, the job that Dean's done over at Rochester. And talk about, the games that the events that you guys have around the community.
Yeah, and I say this every year I come on. I can't talk enough great things about it, whether it's whether it's the band that does just an amazing job of supporting us, the cheer program, one of the best premier cheer program in the state, and the dance team. They do such a great job of making, Friday Night Lights such a special experience. And it starts obviously up top with the principals we've had over the years. We had a great principal in Josh Rinkle who just got promoted to assistant superintendent. So right now we're looking for a new principal. I'm excited to see kind of who we hire there. But they've always at the top have always done just a great job of making it a community event. And Rochester supports their football teams, whether it's us or Stoney or Adams. There's such huge support and just such great community spirit in this town. It really is. It's a great. Again, we talk about Friday Night Lights, talk about that high school experience. You really couldn't ask for anything more. And last year, we did our Falcon Frenzy with Lake Orion coming in, and that really helped us get out to a big start, big jump. And this year we're going to do our Falcon Frenzy week 2 against Adams. And, so it's one of those things that it makes what we do, in terms of working hard as a program, it really makes it worth it because it's such a great experience. It's fun to play in front of thousands and thousands of people on Friday night cheering for you. So the kids understand that. The kids work hard knowing that they want to be the best they can be for that. And it's a great thing to have in our town and our community.
Before I let you go, Coach, what is your expectations this year for Rochester football?
Well, that's just it. Every year we get asked that question, and every year I say, if you're not doing this to try to play at Ford Field, what's the point? Now, obviously, we talk more about the processes of doing it, but again, when you have a team like Adams and Stoney in your community, they have those same goals, and if our goal is to beat them, that's our goal as well. But we really just want to each week get better each week. We want to make sure that we play hard, make the community proud, and just play Falcon football, which is just a tough, hard-nosed, grinded-out game where we make plays and just play the best we can play. That's what we're looking for every single week.
Rochester coach Eric Vernon, thank you for calling in this week here on the podcast. I am looking forward to seeing you guys at Media Day in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yep. Of course, that was Rochester coach Eric Vernon talking about the state of the Falcons. Rochester's going to be a good team. I mean, they're going to be solid. They're going to be good. I mean, we're going to see what happens. All right, everybody, sign off here. Make sure you follow the blog at SaginawBay4650.blogspot.com for the latest information around the OAA. We're going to keep an eye on the boys basketball coaching situation at West Bloomfield. Take care, God bless, and I will see you all next week. Take care, God bless, and I will see you all next week. God bless all.